believer. Tell them I'm a winner, yeah, the believer. Give thanks, so when me a bleed. Set speed, I carry on now. Big man in town, them shoulda know say me I keep it crown, yeah. Plant seeds, work feed. Well, enough of them want ready born. When the food gone so long, them run. And them can't be found, still man fight the fight, me not give in. Day and night, me keep on building. Way of life, me breathe out, breathe in. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them I'm a winner, yeah. Not pop down, not Joe, not turn in a sinner. Oh, man still a believer. Even if me get knocked down, me keep the bounce. Now see me front, Jack got me from a little and I grow. Come on a winner, yeah. Still a believer.
Good evening and welcome to Friday Night with the Fellas. I'm kind of speaking up because Sonja's not feeling so well. She's being a trooper being on here.
Thank you.
Welcome to James, JTrain Martin, and then of course Sonja, as y'all know, and I'm Brian Bstrilla aren't. I don't know what Tip is at, but we're going to carry on the show
Good
without that.
evening, everybody. Thank you so much, B. Hey, Monkey. All right. Of course, tonight we're going to be talking about a little bit of NFL news. Of course, we got the NBA summer series going on right now. And so that's going on. Got some games actually being played as we speak. But let's go ahead and start off with some NFL news. There's some trade rumors amongst the Pittsburgh Steelers, as if the whole debacle about Aaron Rodgers was not enough. Alan Lazard's name has been coming up. They're eyeing him now. Of course, he's from the Jets, and that's Aaron Rodgers' boy, and so there's no surprise there. They need a replacement for George Pickens because they traded him already a little bit earlier in the preseason, but before the draft. And this trade would actually involve a 2026 fifth round pick. It sounds like they're already working on the details by talking about trade numbers and whatnot. Of course, Lazard has this strong connection to Rodgers, and this is being cited as one of the key factors. So I guess if he couldn't have Devontae, he'll just pull for Alan Lazard. Guys, what's your thoughts on that?
The more the merrier. Well, whatever Pittsburgh wants to do.
Yeah, they're gonna clearly do what they need to do. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, we've seen him pull stuff all the time. Like it's Aaron's world. Everybody else just shows up in it. What are your thoughts, J Train?
Alan Lazard is not a bad pickup here because I mean, what other choice do they have really outside of uh, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, over the hill guys? I mean, why not give him somebody that he's familiar with and somebody that can give him maybe 500, 600 yards, 4 TDs? That's something you need. I mean, a good, reliable number two. And I think they still could use a little work with adding another player there, but that helps because right now, really, all you had was DK Metcalf as the number one guy, and you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how great their offensive line is. They got a decent running back, but we'll see. I like it. I think it's going in the right direction for them. It should help, but I don't know if it's going to really move the needle to put them over the top to go to the playoffs and potentially get to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it definitely helps.
That's
Yeah,
just I think that's just also just Rogers bringing one of his boys over there that stood up for him for the most part. You know, I don't think it's a meter moving thing anyway. I don't. I think Roman Wilson is just as good as him at his at his age. So if they want to get somebody, go in free agency and get Keenan Allen. Come on. If they want to get better receivers out there, just do that. I don't know why you're up there playing around with this. I mean, the only reason why they're doing it again is for Aaron Rodgers. It's not for nobody else.
I mean, this is probably going to be his last season anyway. I guess they're feeling like they're going to give him everything he asked for now. But let's be clear, he may still end up coming back. Like, this is just what Aaron does. He gets the crowd hyped up in whatever decision he's supposed to make, and then he does the total opposite, or he drags it on. So he may come back this one year, just maybe just to see what he's working with. And he may actually perform well with the Steelers. I mean, who's to think? But like I said, I feel like it's just the fact that he couldn't get Devontae Adams because that's his main guy. And so now it's no surprise there. As I like to say, there's a no-brainer. Hey, guys, coming in. Hi, Brett. Did I see Robbie as well? Hello.
Yep, Robbie's in here. Monkey, Brett. Yep.
Hi, guys. Hi. Yeah, so I mean, as I like to always say, the verdict's out. I know that there was a couple of people that were commenting saying it hadn't been worked out yet. Of course, this is just all talk, and sometimes by the time it makes it the mainstream, it's already a spark behind it. So if you think about it, where there's smoke, there's fire. Don't be surprised if when we come back, we're talking about the trade itself, because they are talking about specific numbers and whatnot. I do want to plug in real quick how excited I am. Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders both officially have their suits now. I'm particularly excited for Shiloh. He is literally hi Genzer. He is literally just such a calm and seem like respectable young man. I'm so glad that the Bucks banked on him today. What are you guys thoughts about of him? You know, actually looks like he's doing fairly well.
Go ahead, James.
I think the jury's still out. I picked him as a undrafted free agent. It happened, and I think he's got a long road ahead of him. I mean, this is still the beginning. I hadn't seen no preseason. I had seen no gameplay. I still think he's just an average player. The better talented player is Shador. We'll see. Well, I wish him the best, and I hope he does succeed. But I'm not banking on that. I'll be honest with you.
But you are banking on Shador making the final roster.
Without a doubt.
Do you think he'll be the starting quarterback?
No,
okay.
I don't think so. Not out the gate. Not out the gate.
His reflex tests were really good, though. He did really well with those. So I know that's just the beginning. Like you guys always say, anybody can do well with basically flag football. It's when you put on the pads. And that's coming up here soon, guys, in the next couple of weeks. Literally next week, some of the camps are going to be starting up.
Yeah, the Lions and the Chargers are going to be starting their camps early because they get the Hall of Fame game coming up. So
first week of August. Super excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you had some Bears news. Speaking of these teams in the North.
The Bears have reached a contract extension with GM Ryan Poles through the 2029 season. And Chicago just doing Chicago things. This is the Bears under Ryan Poles. They are 15-36. No playoff appearances, no winning seasons, and they went through 5 starting quarterbacks. Yet we're going to give this guy an extension.
5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Look, I agree with you about the contract extension. I probably would have just waited 1 year, but I mean, I'm not going to lie, man. He's building a roster, including the head coach that he took from you guys as the offensive coordinator. So maybe that they're looking to continue with some continuity and saying like, okay, maybe you're on the upward trajectory. Maybe we're going to swing this thing around 180 degrees with the head coach, that'll can be combined with a good quarterback, some talented players that are on the team. They just got a really good draft this year, along with last year's draft. So we'll see. I mean, but I agree with you that 15-36 is not good.
That's rough.
Hey, Monkey, it might be this year, Monkey. Hey, look, a lot of times everything is projected on the style of play. The Bears were never centered around a 4,000-yard quarterback because they never centered around a player to throw the ball that much. Everything was based on their defense and based on running the ball. That looks different now. That's gonna really look different now, specifically this season coming up.
No, new NFL. I mean, you know, I'm not a Chicago person. Any team of Chicago, except for the Cubs. But I play fair. I do, because I hope things work out for Caleb, because that's the person this franchise is going to be centered on this season. They've given him everything now. Ben Johnson's first job when he got there was to build that offensive line, and he's patchworked it. But Ben Johnson's got a pretty good eye for that. So I mean, and he got weapons around him. He got a couple during the draft. So it's his job to lose right now. It's him. If he falls on his face, Ryan Poles is not going to look like the guy that they extended. I'm telling you that right now. So I think they expect a playoff berth for the Bears this year.
Well, not only for them, but I know as much as we've ragged Cincinnati and how much they spent on their offense, some of the pundits, including NFL Network's Jeffrey Shandina, has actually said, has actually predicted that Joe Burrows will be MVP this season. And I guess he's basically doing that based off of the extensions that the team has gotten with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Those are the key factors because their offense, they've put so much into it. They're expecting it to be absolutely prolific. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Can I respond to Monkey's comment first?
Which one?
Just real quick.
This one?
Yeah. And he said they're the Bears. Look, let me tell you, it takes one particular change around. 2006 New Orleans Saints. I know for a fact, Sean Payton, Drew Brees came there. The rest is history. I can't say anything different than that. It can change, Monkey. It can change. And I foresee that it will change for the Bears. Now, my apologies, Sonja. Go ahead, Bstrilla, in regards.
Well, as far as Joe Burrow, I mean, let me tell you something. If Cincinnati has anywhere over a 500 record, you better know that it's because Joe Burrows is throwing for 6,000 to 7,000 yards because that's what he's going to have to throw basically to get them even to that position. And to get them, and if they go into the playoffs, dude, you might just they need to put a statue right in front of Cincinnati Stadium because that dude is going to he's going to do everything he can because they're not going to have a defense. Like I said, Sam Hubbard retired. Nobody knows what's going on with Hendricks's contract. And nobody's going, dealing with Shamar right now. So you got three defensive guys that make impacts on that defense that they may not be there.
I think they're going to fix the defense. I mean, not the defense per se. They're going to fix the issues with the two defensive ends that they have there, defensive players, one rookie and one veteran. I think they're going to fix that. But ultimately, they're going to need to depend on the offense. They can't get Joe Burrow hurt. They can't get Monkey's always joking. They can't get they can't allow the receivers to get hurt, which seems like my man out of Clemson. He always gets hurt, and they gave him a lot of money. So it's really going to depend on the health of the offense and how prolific they are. I mean, I don't know about 6,000 yards, but they definitely. I mean, I think Joe Burrow would definitely throw for 5,000 this season, and they got to be really good at running back too. You can't just have what they had last year. I mean, it was decent.
Yeah, they can't start coming out. They can't come out the gate 1-1, 0-2, 0-3. They can't do that. If they're going to make anything happen this season, they're going to have to come out rip roaring. They can't be losing and doing that what they've been doing the last 3 years. So that's the other thing.
I totally agree with that. I mean, but 6,000 is a lot. But if he's going to get MVP, he's clearly going to ball all the way out. The Commanders are actually have unveiled a new alternate Super Bowl era uniform. They're really feeling themselves from getting so close last season. I'm sorry, B, but they're going to be paying homage to their successful teams of the 80s and 90s. And these uniforms will be worn in select games during the upcoming season. So you guys know they will be having the Redskin logo on there. And not like we really put a lot of salt or grain or whatever into what this person says. But the person in the White House has actually said he would prefer them to go back to their old team name and not change it anymore. And a lot of people have talked about that they felt it was an honor for them to be called the Redskins, and that Native American, some Native American tribes are actually in litigation right now with the Commanders to try to get them to change the name back. So that was kind of a shock, but I'm looking forward to seeing these uniforms. I was a Redskins fan before the Panthers came in. And so I would be absolutely excited to see them. Looks like we have a friend that is joining us that has not joined us.
Oh,
Where is his camera? Where is his camera? Oh, okay. Oh, there he is.
the
Fern.
big A train.
What's
God,
up,
we haven't
people?
seen you since last year. Seriously.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while.
It's so good to see you.
Well, he was on like
Oh,
what?
dang. I'm
Mid,
dropping my phone, trying to get it set up. I don't even know how this works again.
What a
see, look
surprise.
at you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can
we
hear
Yes,
you.
can. It's
sir.
crystal clear and the lighting is great. So for everybody that doesn't know, this is Anthony Fernandez
Can
Fern,
you guys hear me?
aka Giants Extraordinaire. And he's getting himself together. We can see and hear you, Fern, clearly. And so he's part of the Friday with the Fellas
Ah,
crew. Can you not hear us? I tell you what,
He froze.
He froze.
let's
While
see.
he's doing that, can I answer the question about the Washington Commanders? What I
Oh,
think
sure,
about that?
absolutely. Mhm.
Look, I'm torn because on one hand, when I was a kid, I grew up watching the Hogs. I watched the '92 Reds, and oh wow, we keep talking about the doggone Lions get beat up by the Redskins. I just remember that because I was a fan of Barry Sanders, so I was hurt, but I also like the Redskins as well. I mean, coming from New Orleans, I had a terrible team, so I love these teams like the Redskins, well, the Twin A-Trains, and I love
Yeah.
I love uh, the Redskins name and everything. But as I got older, man, look, I seen things differently. I look at things differently, and to me, these names they weren't names that were given by their own name. And I get what these people are coming from. If that's what they want, fine, that's what they want. They didn't name themselves the Redskins. That's not what their names. So many different Native American tribe names. I wouldn't want anybody calling me and African American groups the Jacksonville Jigaboos. I mean, to me, it kind of equates. It kind of equates to the same thing. So
No,
I just
no,
think,
no.
no, hey,
That's,
you can say what you
it
want.
got
You can say what you
no,
want. It was meant
if
to be
if they
derogatory.
were calling them the
It was meant
Jacksonville
to be
Jigaboos,
derogatory.
believe me,
B.
African American people would be out there. African American black folks would be out there saying stuff.
Of
This
course, of
is
course.
when
But they are
Native
out there
Americans are
advocating for
talking
Native
about the
American
Redskins.
now. They're out there
Native
advocating for
Americans are
Native
saying
Americans
they want
now.
the Redskin name. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. I mean, that's why I say if they want it, let them have it. But I just tell you that it didn't come from a kind place. Is what I'm saying. It wasn't meant to be
I don't know where it
putting you on
came
a
from.
pedestal. Yeah,
I wasn't there when
come on,
they
man.
named the
Come
names of
on.
hey, you don't know
The
names.
Cleveland Indians.
The
Indians is
Cleveland Indians.
not even true. It's not even a true term. It's not even a real term. I'm just saying we know what they are. Indigenous people that are Native Americans. Indians are
And they
supposed to be
didn't
in
call for that
India.
either. They didn't call
Huh?
for that either.
That's what I'm
It's a
saying.
cancel culture out there that wanted to get rid of that.
I'm not saying the cancel.
A bunch
I don't
of
like
white
cancel
folks
culture.
that felt bad about naming these teams.
I don't like cancel
They doing
culture,
it,
brother. I'm with you. I don't like cancel culture, but
and that's what they were
I
doing.
understand history. I'm just telling you, if they want to keep it, let them keep it. But I'm telling you, it didn't come from a great place.
Yeah,
It was born out of a bad origin.
as of the 1960s, this is where they first started coming up with the issues. When you look back at the Redskins, is widely considered racial slur and derogatory term for Native Americans, and civil rights people actually started trying to protest this. The National Congress of American Indians, along with other civil rights groups, started in the 1960s trying to get this name to be changed. So it's been a problem for a long time. But in 2020, because of our now woke, group of people, that's when the movement really got some pressure again. Because I think JTrain, you and I may have been on a show, and Fern, you too, because this was about a couple years ago when we were talking about when Kansas City won the Super Bowl, and then during the celebrations there was violence, and we talked about that, and we also talked about how this generation doesn't sign documents and sign petitions. They do whatever. They're the Malcolm X of this group. They do by any means necessary, and they keep pushing until something happens. And if that's violence, unfortunately, that's what violence is, because they don't care. They just want to get the result, and it's by any means necessary. And so in 2020, during the pandemic, during the George Floyd situation and all that stuff, they made it happen. And literally, I'm reading there, and it literally just as I'm saying George Floyd, it does link that. In that same breath, it says it brought all of those issues to head. The fact that George Floyd was literally unalived in front of the world to see, it just really reopened everything. And so you look at it, and it started with the Redskins. And my undergrad used to be North Carolina Indian School. And when all this was going on, they were even talking about changing the name of my university, which is University of North Carolina Pembroke. And because it's the Braves, the mascot is the Braves, just like the Atlanta. But we do the tomahawk chop and everything. And the only reason why they didn't push for the name and stuff to change is because it was founded by Native Americans, and because that area is saturated with Lumbee Indians. And so because of that, they made sure that they kept it intact. But they were even talking about getting rid of the tomahawk chop here in Atlanta. Like this is literally directly related to that. So now the Redskins are like, well, in 2022, February 2nd, 2022, when they unveiled their official new name, everybody was talking about how it was supposed to be chosen to honor military, and because it's the U.S. Capitol. And so that's how they came up with the name. But then there's been more debate within the last 6 to 18 months, because now they're saying, well, now the team has been that so long, we're not offended by it anymore. And my opinion is this: if it's something that's radically offensive to most people, then it needs to be up to that individual group that are offended as to whether or not they are offended. And if they're saying now they're not offended, then so be it. But overall, if they're still offended, then nobody should be talking about changing the name back.
I guess I'll jump right in. I hope everybody's doing well. I'll
Good to
jump
see you,
right in
Fern.
on
I
my thing.
introduced you while you were frozen. I said Giants extraordinaire, the Ohio State, all that good stuff. So good to have
Oh
you
yeah.
back, brother.
Good to be back. I told you I'll join when I can, and today was one of those
Yeah.
days I could, so I appreciate it. What's up, JTrain? How you doing, brother? How you doing, B? I hope everybody
What up,
doing all
though?
right. What's
What up,
going
Good to
though?
on?
see you.
I guess
Good,
I'll stay on
man.
top. I guess I'll respect the panel and stay on topic. I think with the access to information being so instant now, cell phones, various different things. Um, it's the reason why it's the woke culture is because of the easy access to that information. You can Google the history of anything and get an understanding within minutes, where it took days, encyclopedias, the sources, just get an understanding of the wording, to get an understanding of history. And now history is right there at your fingertips in a matter of minutes. So people can, like all of us do, pull it up, search, hey, this was derogatory. Okay, let me read the history on this, and then 10 or 15 minutes you have a theory on why why I should not root for the Redskins or the Indians or anything to that effect, because it's derogatory and racist. The information is plentiful now, so it's easier for you to be woke, easier for people to be woke. It's just that they're more educated now, and they're educated faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and you're from the north, Fern. So you definitely, can probably, a lot of people talk about, and I mean, we don't want to spend too much time on this because it could spin into a rabbit hole real quick.
Mm.
But you're from the north, Bstrilla's from the north, um, JTrain is from the southwest. I'm from the south. And so,
Mhm.
but we all have connections to the south in one way or another. And so
Absolutely.
we know that, people moved from the south up north. That's why, Fern, we think we're related because we have some of
We
the same
are.
relatives. Fern and I legit found out we have some of the same cousins.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
my grandfather's from Brooklyn. And
Mhm.
so when you talk about stuff like that, it's not far removed to think that, okay, this stuff does still exist. And if they want to just get beyond it, I'm in the mindset of like, okay, yes, this happened. What can we do to fix it? And let's move forward so that we're not continuing in this. Because when you continue in it, that's when it never heals. It's like a wound that never heals.
Absolutely. I totally agree. JTrain can attest to that, I would say. I mean, being from New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
educated, black man from New Orleans and getting the understanding of both scopes, I'm sure you can talk to us on both sides, JTrain, of, what you know versus what you've witnessed when it comes to systematic racism and various different things that coincide with it, team names being this and that, and Confederate statues. I know we don't want to get too deep into it,
For
but
sure.
you've witnessed those things, so I'm sure you can talk to it a little bit more, talk about it a little bit more. Mhm.
Look, I've been called the N word by counterparts,
Mhm.
to my face. Uh, in the South, I've been, um, what's the word when you're
Profile.
profiled by
Yeah,
police.
too. Mhm.
I've been, I mean, and I had nothing to do but walking. I was like the kid Trayvon Martin walking to the store for candy, and next thing you know, I'm somebody 3 cars were coming around me, profiling me because I lived in a neighborhood that was undesirable, but I had some jeans on, a leather jacket on, walking to the store, and next thing I'm like, oh, they're not coming for me, and they're telling me, hey, get against the car, assume position. Thank goodness I had a detective cousin that's happened to be on the force. I just mentioned his name. I said, "Hey, you can contact him. And this is my cousin." When I say his name, his badge, they backed up. But that could have gone left easily, But I did what they asked. But my thing is, I don't want to get too far into that. What I will say is just again, the origin of things is key to know. And I again, like Sonja said, just like I mentioned earlier, if the group of people decide that they're not offended by it, then I'm not offended by it. But the key is to be knowledge. This is the same group of people out here that are trying to take books out of school. They're trying to turn the history around by saying that people weren't slaves, but they were helpers. That kind of
Oh,
language alarms
I
me.
Wow.
You
didn't
know what I
even know
mean?
about that.
No, that's true. That's you look it up.
Oh, wow.
It's happened. So when I hear these sorts of things, I'm like, okay, I have to keep one eye open and say, why would you want to? Why are we going back to certain things? Now, mind you, what A Train said about statues and everything like that, I'm all for the statue staying up, and I'll tell you why. Because if they're trying to change history and take things out, why not have things in front of your face so you can ask questions about who is this? Why is
True.
that happening? Why did that happen? So you know exactly what it is. Don't tear it down because
Yeah.
now you're taking the scars away. You're tearing down what there's wounds there. So but you want the scars. That's what when you have a knee injury or something like that, you want something as a reminder to say what happened. You want so you show that it healed. We're not we're not healing. We need to be healing. And as a group, whatever color you are, whatever group you are, if we're going to come together, we got to be honest about things, be honest and open about things, and say, "Oh, this is what happened. Fine, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. This stuff that happened long ago, but we need to be able to move forward. But I don't want to repeat or go back in another direction because I understand history and I understand where we were. So I got to keep my eyes open and I got to be careful with what you do because it just again, history is history. It happened. It's a big elephant in the room, and people seem to be skipping around that and jumping around that, but the elephant is there. And
The
so, I
crazy
mean, just
thing
what
is,
of what happened. But hopefully, we're not nowhere near where we were, but we can revert if we start doing crazy stuff.
the crazy thing is, if we don't make sure that that information is still there, it will be erased. Because unfortunately, you have, and Bstrilla and I were talking about this last night. Even though we're not that far removed from the next generation, we kind of are in a lot of ways because they have social media, like A Train brought up. They are like an instantaneous everything. They don't have to turn a TV on. Everything is on their phone. Everything, streaming, news, traffic, everything. They don't have to watch TV for nothing. It won't be lost on me if one day no one even sells TVs anymore because
Nope.
everything is on laptops or phones or devices. And that's what we're going to. We're going to an instant need to know. I mean, I was thinking today, just thinking like sometimes you kind of think back. Most of us on here remember when cell phones came out, remember when the
Hmm.
internet came out. And these kids today have like, I just remember having to go, and the phone that we had in the house was, there was one phone and it was on the wall and it did not come off the wall. If you wanted to use the phone, it was on the wall so high that you had to stand up to talk. And it was a rotary dial. And
Hmm.
so those days, I remember when I got in high school, I went to the dollar store. It was Woods, and I bought a cord myself because I was going to have
Hmm.
a phone in my room while my grandmother was at work. And I bought the longest cord I could buy, and I took the phone off the wall and plugged the cord in and took the laying down type phone now, rotary dial. It's supposed to go. I'm taking it to my room so I could tell my friends I had a phone in my room. And knowing I had to hang it back up before my grandmother got home, and she came home early or something and found the cord, and that was the end of that because I was in there laying on my bed, and it started out because I was like, man, this don't make no sense. We got to stand up to talk on the phone. And she was like, that way you're not on the phone a long time. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, she's like, well, you just don't need to use the phone. And this is before call waiting or anything. And I'm looking at all of that to say, for the Redskins to come out and now they're bringing this uniform back in, just to dovetail on what we're talking about for people that are coming in. Good evening, everybody coming in. It's going to be lost if there's no history there. There's a complete detachment, and that's how you lose everything. Like, how do you think we're on social media sometimes and we see people that don't even realize some of the greats that we've had in sports unless they Google them, because they have not been taught. They only know to go look up somebody's name. And that's where we are. And so um, that's something that Strilla and I actually kind of got into this a little bit about Carnival Cruise last night. And unfortunately, or fortunately, this is an avenue that we actually got to get a chance to kind of merge. You can't have sports without real life stuff. You just can't. People that say they attend football games and stuff like that or sports events to get away, I get that, but sometimes you can't get away because the issues that we face are so present that they're right there. You guys remember with the Colin Kaepernick thing, people were saying, hey, I go to sporting events to get away from political stuff. But we live in a political stuff. Everything is set by politics, your gas prices, how many times you could turn your lights on before your light bill goes up. Everything is regulated, whether we believe it or want to believe it or not, by our government. And so this is the same situation. I'm hoping that the Commanders / Redskins organization are where they need to be, that they have healed, and whatever decision they come up with is one that's comfortable for the fans, the organization, and the city. That's my thoughts on that. All right,
Agreed.
guys. Looks like Pete Carroll looks like he's acclimating to his job down there in Las Vegas. And that's going to be a shocker for me to get used to when Pete comes on the field. I mean, the locker room's going to smell amazing because he's got the freshest breath in the NFL because he keeps a piece of gum. But just to know, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts down there? Is it going to be a difference maker in Vegas?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll reminds me of the guy that just can't step away from the game. He has to have one
Yep.
last hurrah, one last hurrah. Um, the Raiders need as much help as they can get. I mean, same as the Giants, you know. I think they made some big improvements. I think Pete Carroll can bring a lot of energy to that team because that's how I always seen him. He's an energetic coach. He's out
He
there
don't
running with
run
his
the field.
players. Yeah, he's out there chewing his gum. He's good. He might be good for 1 or 2 years to kind of revive that organization. Bring in some good players, scout a little bit better, kind of put that team together for the next guy to kind of lead the way. Kind of like what the 49ers did, when they had that head coach, I forgot linebacker, Bears all-time linebacker. I'm sure you know
Mike
JTrain.
Mike Mike
Mike
Singletary.
Mike Singletary, and then he kind of handed the reins off to the
Harbaugh.
Harborough guy. Yeah, I don't like to say his name, but but handed the reins off to him. I'm just joking.
Say
Um,
it.
I think, yeah, I know Bstrilla. I hear you. I know. No, seriously, guys, I think Pete Carroll's going to revive that organization and get them to a point where they can actually really start the rebuild process. That's my opinion.
B.
Oh yeah, go ahead,
Right?
B. You go.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ant. I do. I think that coaches are creatures that can turn an organization around. And I think that's what Pete Carroll is there to do. Get that culture into that locker room to say, hey, we're here to do business. This is the Raiders. And our motto is just win, baby. And we haven't been doing that. And we have to get back to that. And that's what he's there for. And like Ann says, it's probably for somebody, later on the coaching tree that's going to get in there and take over for you. And Pete Carroll's like what, 71 now,
He's going to be
108?
74 in September. He's 73 right now.
And this day and age with these players that are coming out now, some styles of coaching is not going to work for a long period of time. So he's got to be in there, like I said, 1 or 2 years. Yeah, he should turn that around. So we'll see what happens. The Raiders are trying to build something. They got Genty in the draft. They got a good tight end in there. They got a Geno's in there as a quarterback. He's a decent quarterback. They've improved a lot of the areas of their team. So we'll see what happens. AFC West is very competitive right now. Got a lot of good teams in that division. So
JTrain, I knew you were saying.
I mean, true that. But I get the man's old, he's ancient, but there's a lot of old coaches that were in the league that just had plenty of success. I mean, we're talking. I'm thinking college still. Bobby Bowden, Joe Pop, Paterno. Great guys that have had longevity. I liken him
It's
to
not
be
say
in
about
that.
Nick Saban.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
again, I liken him to be in that range. Starting off, I love what B Striller, just to echo what he just said. The running back, let's not forget about Ashton Genty. They're gonna have to try to stop that. And I like what they're doing offensively. The rookie of the year in the tight end, he's
Bowers, Brock
Bowers, yes,
Bowers.
Bowers,
Brock Bowers. Oh man, put those two together, have a good running game and a reliable tight end that broke Mike Dicker's rookie records. I like them to be a sleeper. I think they'll be a sleeper. They may win 8, 9, dare I say 10 games. I think push them into a playoff wild card. I think that it's a possibility. And of course, you got the most motivating coach to do it, to help them do it. One of the Seattle, man, when they had their reign, they were on it. They were one play away from being a dynasty. It's just unfortunate he threw the interception, but Legion of Boom, he's a former defensive back coach. I'm pretty sure he's working on that defense right now, the secondary. So I like them to be much better. They may not be a playoff team, but I think they might be. They're on at maximum they're a wild card team.
He's gonna be 70 for September 2025, and
And he looks like he's 60.
he does. He's gonna be the
yes.
oldest head coach in NFL history as of September. His overall NFL regular season record, nothing to sneeze at: 170 wins, 120 losses, one tie. Has a .586 winning percentage, so that's good. He's above 500. Overall NFL postseason record, he's tied at 11-11 for winning percentage in the postseason. Really good. His overall NFL career record for his regular season and postseason is 181, 131-1. So one being the tiebreaker. So he has a .580 winning percentage. Now, you guys know in 94, which was, it seems not long ago, but it was, he was 6-10 with the Jets during the regular season, went on to coach the New England Patriots. A lot of people don't realize that.
Went to the
97,
playoffs.
8, yes,
Yeah.
27-21 regular season. Then he went to the Seahawks after all of that from 2010 to 2023, where he was 137, 89, and 1. So he's
USC.
definitely nothing to sneeze at because he won the Super Bowl there. He was 10-8 in the postseason. And he's also been a head coach in the college with USC Trojans from
Mm-hmm.
2001 to 2009, 96 through 19 as well, with the 835 winning percentage. And he won 2 national championships with them in 2003 and 2004. So Pete Carroll has been tried and true. And there's no better bet than they could have bet to put Pete there. I mean, if the Raiders are going to have any type of revitalization going on, if there's such a word, then Pete would be the best person at least strike that match, like you guys are saying, and go ahead and get it going for the next coach. Yeah, B.
Well, that and the fact that they had look at that division of coaches: Andy Reid, Sean
Mm-hmm.
Payton.
Mm-hmm.
You got Pete Carroll. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Jim
It's
Harbaugh.
it's a wealth of
It's a
riches there.
poaching. Yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But
they got.
what I will say, if he said Sonya, you say he's gonna be 74 this season.
Yeah, in September.
Look, as long as he got a good supply of depends, he can stay on the sideline and
I think it's the way he
get
wears
back
them.
into life and get back into life.
The
Like
way he runs,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he wears them. He runs very freely.
right.
That's not an image I want to know. But
I
anyway,
wouldn't I wouldn't know about depends, but I would just think like, he's pretty what do they say? Viral? He's pretty viral.
Viral. Yeah, there you
Right.
go.
I pray
So
we can all get to that
Right.
age. I pray we all get to that age where we get to experience depends at some point in our lives. That's a long life. That's a
Yes,
long life.
You,
exactly.
hey, they tell you start in diapers and you end up in diapers. So
that's
you
what
know.
That
my
is
grandmother used
very
to say.
true.
My
Yep.
grandmother used to say once an adult, twice a child,
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
twice a
You
baby.
are.
Whew.
Yeah,
You are. That's
you really
true.
are.
That's true. Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so all right, guys, the TJ Watt contract is still ongoing. I mean, do
Mm.
y'all see anybody bending at this point? He's wanting to be, this if he gets this contract, it's gonna be record breaking. He's gonna be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, literally. And he wants to surpass Jamar Chase. And this is an issue I have with this person do this. Let me make sure I get more than this person. He's gonna supersede Jamar Chase and Miles Garrett recent off extensions that they got. And this is a high stake because TJ is about to turn 31 in October. So you look
Mm-hmm.
at his age, you look at what he's already put up, and you look at the type of contract that he's literally holding out for.
I don't.
Well,
I mean. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, B.
that's not his fault. Cleveland paid Miles Garrett all that money.
Mm-hmm.
They went forward to do that. So it's going to be. It doesn't make a difference because if he gets that money, guess who else is going to get a contract like that? Micah
Mm-hmm.
Parsons.
Yep.
And then if
Sure
Henderson
is.
gets traded or goes to another team, he's going to get that money unless Cincinnati pays him that money. But the point of the matter is that money is just going up. That's the reason why you haven't had anybody signed yet, because somebody's waiting for the first one of those three to make a move because
Yep.
it would be the cheaper deal.
Agreed.
I mean, do you
I,
think
Agreed.
I
he
I
gets
agree with
signed?
that. I think T.J. Watt, man. I've seen him on the sideline a lot more than I've seen him on the field, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
lately, yeah.
So I don't know if you're if you're the Steelers and you're in this rebuild mode, kind of in a sense, do you take that chance and pay him again, like you said, Sonya, at that age, with his history? He plays so hard and he's very injury prone. So, do you take a chance on him? I believe this is my theory when it comes to players, money, and how much they get paid. I want the right team to pay him, right? If you are a team that is in need of multiple positions and you pay a player that may be great, and I'll bring up, I'm gonna bring up the Saquon situation in my defense. You pay a great player, right? And you put him behind a crappy O line,
Hmm.
that's not good for anybody. So when we
Hmm.
talk about the TJ Watt, the Saquon Barkley, and I hear the laughs and all this, what if the Giants did pay him that money? How many more years did we take? Would we take another season off his career where his running backs don't last long? You know, and now we're in a hole for Saquon, and now we can't sign. This guy, we can't pull this guy in. We can't get a Jameis. We can't get a Russ because we're in such cap hell. I believe it's just better for the player and the organization for him to move on into the right fit. And I think TJ Watt needs to go to the team that is is where they're gonna pay him and is valued. That's my opinion. It may not work for him in Pittsburgh. Like, you're paying him all his money, and what's gonna happen? Like, go to a team that's a contender, let them pay you, and then you can see reap the fruits of your contract. But if you pay a great player on a bad team and you're in need of other things, it's like buying a Rolls Royce and you're homeless. That makes no sense. I don't want a Rolls Royce at an apartment complex. It's just doesn't make sense for me. So a
No,
Saquon, go to the Eagles. A TJ Watt, go to a team that's going to be successful. Go to you know, I hate to say it, but a Philly or Kansas City or even a Cincinnati. A team that can get down, that could use you. Pittsburgh needs to start looking at their organization as a whole, and start getting better at other positions so that they can, start getting younger and getting better.
yeah, I don't think I agree with you, A Train, and almost everything that you just said. They don't. They shouldn't pay him the most money for a defensive player ever right
Mhm.
now because again, he's about to turn 31, like Sonya just said, and he's been on the sideline more than he's been on the field. With that said, it's always a time when you say, "Hey, what have you done for me lately?" Like one of the best Janet Jackson songs I've ever heard. It's always about that. What have you done for me lately? And
Mhm.
where are you heading from here? I mean, when you're 31, you're on the wrong side of 30, man. And if you're injury prone in that space, I'm not about to pay you with Miles Garrett, who's been an Iron Man for his team. Not saying that TJ Watt has not. I mean, for most of his career, he's been a dominant player, very dominant. And but with this said, if you're looking at it from a strategic standpoint, you want to start building up your defense. Want to start replacing players like Craig. I mean, not Craig Hayward, but Cam Hayward.
Cameron,
Guys that are aging.
Heisman.
You got to start looking for the future. You got to start like saying, I can't tie all my money into this one player who's aging, who may be injury prone. You know, maybe something. TJ, if he wants to stay with his team. Oh, I mean, he has to ask for the money. He'd be stupid to not ask to get paid.
Hmm. Hmm.
But at some point, he's gonna have to come to his senses and negotiate, and maybe come down and potentially maybe get a 1 year contract, get franchised, or maybe a 2 year contract that's a little more reasonable and a little more feasible for both the player and the organization to make it easier on a team that might be strapped that still needs
Yeah,
other
we know
players.
about
So, but you see, trades in Washington. Oh man,
it.
come on.
They ain't gonna make that trade, buddy.
That it's
Uh,
not going to happen.
mm-mm.
Nobody's getting rid of TJ. They're not going to get rid of him. They're
No,
going to either franchise him or let him. He's going to have to sit. It's one or the
he
other.
he's the man he's the man in the defense. Look at it. This is the problem I have with Pittsburgh right now. You go out there and you trade for Jalen Ramsey, and he's
Mm.
old too now. He ain't the Jalen Ramsey of 5 years ago. He's a Jalen Ramsey of now today. And you got rid of Minka Fitzpatrick, who is younger than him. Now I
Mhm.
understand he hasn't done anything in the last. Well, he hasn't done much in the last 2 years. But if you, I mean, you could. I'm just not understanding the purpose. I would sign T.J. Watt. He's what they got in defense. If they don't have T.J. Watt in their defense, they ain't making the playoffs. I'm gonna tell you that
And
right now.
you can expose Jalen Ramsey as well too. I've seen
Yeah.
him get it. He's had his years where he's a dominant corner, but he's got to play in a specific defense. He got to play, and they got to they got to curtail the defense or cater to his strength. At 30, what is he? 31 now? 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's not good for someone that's supposed to be on the fast end, on the end where you playing with like speedy receivers. Yeah, and so I get what you're saying. Like there, I agree with you totally. I wouldn't have got rid of Mika Fitzpatrick.
Of course,
Yeah.
TJ Watt was the defensive player of the year in 2021, but that's been so long ago now. The end of his stats for last season, he played 121 games as of the end of last season, 2024. He had 462 total tackles, 331 were by himself, and 131 were assisted. He had 108.0 sacks, which were the most in Steelers franchise history. He also had 126 tackles for a loss. He also had 225 quarterback hits, 33 forced fumbles, 12 fumble recoveries, 7 interceptions, and 49 passes defensed. So it's no doubt that he's put his work in, but we looked at the fact that Michael Strahan's single season sack record was 22.5, and um and looks like TJ Watt has surpassed that, just looking at different players throughout as well. And TJ has the most sacks in NFL since 2017, which was 108 by that specific player. And then he's the second fastest player to reach 100 sacks behind Reggie White. So if you look at that, it's well warranted that he's, making a solid argument for this extension, but he's the only player in NFL history with those 108.0 sacks. He's tied for most in NFL history with at least 19 sacks for 2 seasons. So I just feel like this 44 million is a huge stretch. You don't have some players making that as their total contract. I mean, 44 million. And this is why I always say this makes me feel like the NFL has the U.S. Mint in their backyard. Like they're just printing out money, because I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, is this even, I don't want to say it's greed, or is he really being paid what he's worth? Is he really worth 44 million a year?
In 2021, if 2021 or 2025, it wouldn't be a doubt in the mind of anybody that he should be paid that money.
Very true.
But 2025, 31 years old, injury prone the last couple of years, there's no way. And the organization has an argument that I'm pretty sure they're laying out all the facts to him.
But don't they have that clause in there, the injury clause, that they could sign him and still, hey, you got to play a certain amount of down? Sorry about that, Bstrilla.
Like they did contract.
Trey Lance.
I mean, it depends on his contract. If it's written in his contract, everybody's contract is written differently within the NFLPA laws.
To end this standoff, just come to a median where, hey, he has to perform. If he doesn't perform, he's taking a significant cut, and just leave it at that, because if not, he's gonna probably get traded. I saw somebody earlier mention that. I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers end up releasing him, y'all.
No, they ain't gonna release him.
But so what if he refuses to play?
Well, he just refuses to play. It'll be like Hendrickson. I mean, you gotta look at it like this. This is another fact that I just looked up. Since 2020, TJ Watt has the most sacks with 73.5 sacks. Myles Garrett has 72 sacks. That's not bad. He's close to him, right? But Myles Garrett has played in 6 more games than TJ Watt has.
Mm-hmm. And he's a little bit younger.
And Trey Hendrickson is 70.5, and he's played the same amount as Garrett has.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you got to look at really the person on this list that you have to watch for this all the bricks to fall into place is Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons, yeah.
Who has 52.5 sacks in 63 games since 2020, and he wasn't even in the league then. Think about that.
I don't think Micah Parsons is going to be a Cowboy in the future. I'll be honest with you. If they're smart, and I know this may come off wrong to all my Cowboy guys, but if the Cowboys are smart, I would go, and I know this may sound silly, I would go younger. I couldn't afford to pay Micah Parsons. I would. Micah Parsons is a young guy. I get it, but I wouldn't pay him all that money. I'm sorry. I couldn't put that much trust into Micah.
Can you come closer to the camera? JTrain, come closer to the camera. Bring your face closer. Let me see that hat. I need to see that hat.
This is my.
No, show everybody your hat. Bring your head. Yeah.
This is my coach. This is my coach. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, so it's not the one that you normally wear.
No. It's not my Giants. But I'm being honest.
He's talking about the clown hat. He's talking about the clown hat.
Oh, my clown hat? Yeah. I got my shoes on, JTrain. I just didn't show you. But I'm being honest with you. This may sound a little bit unorthodox. I personally, if I'm the Cowboys, wouldn't pay him. You know how much of their cap is he gonna eat up? Is it worth it? I mean, everybody can say yes now, but is it gonna be worth it for the time that we sign him the amount of time that we're giving him on a contract? Is it worth it? Is it? Is it? Bill
I,
Belichick took big chances. He didn't grab a lot of talent. He waited till the price was right. And they're the most successful team, I think, in history. I know not everybody's a Bill Belichick, but Mike is going to eat up a lot of that cap. And do the Cowboys need help? Yes, they do. This
But let
season
me
is going
say
to tell
this.
it
and
all.
Let me say
Bill
this, JTrain.
Belichick didn't have that issue when he was
Bill
running
Bel-
teams.
he never had a Michael Parsons talent on that defense in the history of the New England Patriots era. Now, as a defensive coordinator for the Giants, he had somebody similar, who was better,
LT.
but
Yeah.
yes, there's no way he would get rid of Michael Parsons if he had him on his team. There's no way. You can't tell me that. Ain't no way.
Okay.
He's the closest thing that resembles to LT to me. He's not LT. I'm not saying that. I'm not being
No.
blasphemous here.
Mm.
But
No,
he
no, I
is the
get you.
closest thing that I've seen as a player, a type of player that's similar to LT. He's the closest. There's no way I would give. But the problem, I think, Dallas, what might give credence to what you're saying is
Hmm.
that they paid a quarterback and they paid their wide receiver
Yep.
an hellacious amount of money. So
Yep.
they might not have the space for it. So, yeah.
Exactly.
And they may have to pay
Exactly.
another wide receiver if that receiver turns out to have a good season.
Yep. They
Who,
They're
who
may
doing
would
the
have
have
same
to?
to.
thing
Saying he
Cincinnati's
may
doing.
end up getting released because they can't even afford him anymore.
They're
And
not
but,
going to be able to afford them. Yeah.
but on that same breath that you're talking about, JTrain, because of the NFL is really kind of dumbing down the defense.
Hmm.
Who cares about paying for defensive players anymore? The only ones
No.
that care about playing for defensive players are the people who have no offense.
Hmm.
That's why Cincinnati went full Monty on offense, and that's what Dallas is going to eventually do. They don't have their offense is better than their defense, and their offense is better than defense. They're going to do that. Every team
You
is going to
telling
do
me
that.
Aaron Donald wasn't worth the money he was paid?
No, he was worth the money he was paid.
It was worse.
There's
Yeah.
great players. We're talking about defense. First of all, edge players and defensive ends and interior guys. Dexter Lawrence, he's not worth the money he's paid.
I'm just saying.
Vince Wilfork.
Let me
Vince
let me
Wilfork
let me
was.
let me tell you this. It's about what's happening now. It's not what's happening a couple of years ago. And that changed dramatically over a couple of years. This whole
No,
signing stuff has
I'm just saying like
changed
the interior,
dramatically.
like his team. The guy on your team,
Aiden
A
Hutchinson.
Train. No, A
Oh,
Train's team.
Dexter.
The Jack.
Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter
Dexter
Yeah,
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Dexter
Yeah.
Lawrence
Yeah.
is a
Dexter Lawrence.
dominant monster. You
He's a
you tell me
monster.
that guy's not worth? He changes how that defense is played.
He's worth every bit of it, but also Dexter fits in our defensive scheme. I do believe that. And now with us adding, getting Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, now Abdul Carter, our defense is going to be top five.
Hmm.
So you want to
I think
keep
so.
that cohesive. You want to keep that cohesiveness together. What can we say that Micah has that he can lean on in that defense? Lawrence is gone. Listen, I'm trying to make a point here. You gotta have, it has to be, if you're gonna pay a player that amount of money, when you look at the blackboard and you break the numbers down, you gotta say, he's gonna work for us with this guy and this guy and this guy. He can't do it alone. Okay. I'm not gonna pay this guy this amount of money and I have nothing around him. I have to make sure that it works on each end. And I'm not taking anything from Micah. I'm just saying the Cowboys as an organization. Does this work for us? And again, I'm going back to the fit. Okay. Does this work for us? Because we're going to spend a ton of money and we're going to take a lot of money away from players that we can actually get. Does this work for us? Can we get him help? And can we get a Dexter Lawrence in that interior to free him up a little bit more? Can we put another guy like Brian Burns on the left side to help with him come, help with the pass rush? Can we do that? Or are we just giving it to him? If we're just giving it to him, I could take that money and go a lot of different directions with it.
On offense.
Let me ask you this:
Yes,
would you trade Kayvon
exactly.
Thibodeau for him?
Would I trade Kayvon Thibodeau for Michael Parsons and put him on the opposite side of Abdul Carter without a damn question? Excuse me.
Of
Oh my
course you
God.
would.
Oh my God.
We're not questioning it. We're not
Again,
questioning it, but
no. Yeah. Yeah, B. But again, I have the weapons. I have Burns, Parsons, Abdul. I drafted a
we,
defensive tackle. I have Dexter Lawrence.
yeah,
Yes,
we
I'll
got
take
we got
whatever you need.
we got to wrap this up real quick, guys.
Okay.
No,
Okay. Sorry
we
about
can
that.
go a little bit. We can go a little bit.
Okay.
I put a note in there to say we could because we don't have a show behind this one.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry about that. Go ahead,
Yeah.
B.
No, I mean it. Look at how teams are getting built now. Good teams are building from the offense and they're drafting defense.
Mhm.
All these good teams are doing that, and the other teams are starting to see this because NFL is a copycat league, so they're
Mhm.
going to do that, and that's what you need this day and age because defense is not a prevalent anymore in the NFL. I mean, it's there,
Mhm.
but you're not going to go out there and say you're going to trade for some guy on a defensive end if you already got a defensive end already getting paid. And you're not going to put
Mhm.
two big defensive ends on there because defense really don't. It helps you to stop a couple times, but if you got a
Mhm.
great offense, don't make a difference.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
if you
true.
look at it, I'm going to use the Lions as an example from last year. Their defense was crap because they had a lot of injuries. They
Yes.
still went 15-2. How do you think they went 15-2? It definitely was not
Offense.
their defense at the end. It was that offense. And that's exactly the reason
Offense.
why they lost that playoff game because if the offense screws up,
Yeah.
defense ain't there to bail them
Yeah.
out.
Defense wins
Mhm.
the championships.
Yeah,
Right.
defense does
Mhm.
still win championships. So you got to have the good enough defense to get you through the playoff games. And that's what the Lions didn't have because offense, because you're going to learn that other people. Well, Washington didn't really have a good defense. I think more of Detroit shot themselves in the foot. But that's what happens
Mhm.
when your offense is not clicking and you have no defense.
True.
you're SOL. So
True. True. I
My
agree.
last statement with that is that you definitely have to have a foundation if you're going to build around, like what A Train said. Who's around him? Who does he have to lean on? If they
exactly.
pay him, I could see them going into the draft and going strictly defense because they have all their players on offense that can go defense through the draft and maybe some players mid range players in the defense in the free agency in 2026.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely. I totally agree. Sorry, Ty.
no, you're good. I was just
Mhm.
listening. I was gonna say I agree as well. That's definitely a great place to say as we say the verdict is still out. A Train, thanks for rejoining us tonight, guys. Great discussion here, great show. J Train, Bstrilla, and of course I'm Sonja. Thank you everybody for the likes, love, shares, comments. And we will see you guys soon. Bstrilla and J Train and Jack and them have a show tomorrow, the debate show. I know JTrain has a prior commitment, but the show will go on tomorrow at 8 a.m. And then the Sunday morning sports show, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. during the non-season and 8 to 10 during the regular season will be commencing Eastern Standard Time. You guys stay tuned for all the YouTube affiliates and subscribe where you can. And we wish everybody a great weekend.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good night, guys.
Work and win a lose a man a winner, and that's for certain. Never take no program, come me and me own dance. So me go and shut and shut and shut. Tell them man a winner, yeah. Nap up down a Jonah, turn in a sin.